And here's some good news for parents. So learners in public junior secondary schools will not pay school fees. Education Cabinet Secretary Ezekiel Machogu says that the government will cover the tuition fees for public schools to the tune of 15,000 per student. At the same time, the ministry has approved different uniforms for the grade 7 learners to distinguish them from the primary section. Junior secondary schools will open on the 30th of this month for the first term of their academic year. Brenda Wanga reports on the raft of guidelines that will now inform the transition to junior secondary school.
The Cabinet Secretary's guidelines of the transition to junior secondary school is a mixed bag of fortunes for parents to children making that move from primary to junior secondary. On the one hand, relief as the government moved to assure them that their children in public schools will not have to worry about fees.
In total, the government will spend Kenya shillings 9.6 billion for the runners in a junior secondary school this calendar year. It therefore means that no school should charge any fees for grade 7 runners unless such schools are reporting wings.
While the parents will not be burdened by the tuition fees in public schools, they will have to dig deep into their pockets to kit their children. The ministry says the new grade 7 students will have to look and feel different from the other children in primary school, tasking individual schools to advise parents before the schools open.
The uniform will not be the same, and each and every board of management will be able to make a decision as to the color and the type of uniform that students would be required to put on. And of course, as is the case, the parents would have to bear the responsibility of buying uniforms for their children.
The ministry also addressed concerns about the level of preparedness in terms of infrastructure. The CS says the ongoing assessment of schools, which seeks to verify, amongst other things, the size of land the school stands on, availability of water and sanitation, as well as the availability of buildings for classes and laboratories, had shown that majority of schools are ready.
We have about 23,000 primary schools, so taking the average out of what we have done, even going forward, you can see that most likely over 20,000 primary schools will be able to qualify of education.
The Teachers Service Commission defended the deployment of teachers to junior secondary schools. The ministry is sending some 36,000 teachers to public schools ahead of the commencement of junior secondary school learning, and some stakeholders have questioned whether this number is sufficient.
We counted the number of grade 7 classes, and we found that we have 30,550, and we are sending a teacher, one teacher per that class in the whole of the country. And then, of course, we shall be mapping out those ones with the higher qualifications, and we have vetted them.
At the same time, the government walked back its directive on the planned abolishing of boarding schools in this sector of education. The teething problems associated with the transition to junior secondary school notwithstanding, parents and pupils joining junior secondary school now have just 2 weeks to get their ducks in a row before the pupils report to school on the 30th of January this year. Brenda Wanga, Citizen TV, Nairobi.